Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Dragon Ball Daima review. Today, we are talking about episode 11, Legend. I'm joined by my Z Fighter and Arm, the legend himself, Major Rage. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Excited to talk about this episode. It's always a pleasure to be here with you talking Dragon Ball.
I know, man. This was definitely an episode. So we this week well, first off, let's do overall thoughts. But overall thoughts, how do we feel like this episode went this week?
The route that I was afraid it would go was as soon as Vegeta stepped up to the plate. I'm like, no, they're gonna job Vegeta. No.
I don't know if they're gonna job him just yet. I mean, I they're definitely doing the Vegeta thing where it's like they put him up against something and they make him kind of look like he's gonna job. And I feel like maybe this time I feel like they might I don't know. I feel like they're gonna give him the W on this. Like it might take him a minute, because with Tamagami 3 and Goku, yeah, we all knew Goku was gonna win. It is Goku's show. But I really feel like they're going to give, like, even if Goku steps up in the next episode, I really feel like they're going to give Vegeta the win. I really do. Like, and if I'm wrong, then that's just the hopeful Vegeta fan in me. But
Well, I hope I'm wrong.
but
I love it when I'm wrong about stuff like this.
but I mean, I could, and as I said, I could just be too hopeful and giving them a little bit too much credit, which I hate to be that way, but that happens sometimes. All right, you ready to break it down?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we pick up right where we left off last time, where Nerva, something, is walking up to the craft, and I thought like something was going to happen. And honestly, Pansy just noticed that he was out there, and they went out and talked to him. We get a very interesting conversation, which I'm glad happened. I would have been really upset if we would have like had this conversation and like Piccolo was not heavily involved in it. It would have been very
Mm-hmm.
stupid. So I'm very glad that we got a little bit more of a lore dump with Piccolo. We learned Piccolo's father's name, which I don't remember what it was, but it was in the episode. I don't know if that
Mm-hmm.
was ever mentioned before. But one thing I wanted to point out though is that, and I don't know what constitutes passing along between Piccolo and Evil King Piccolo, like Piccolo Senior, Piccolo Junior, because there was one point where they were talking about, oh, you can't summon the dragon without knowing the Namekian, and Piccolo, at least in the 23rd Budokai tournament, knew Namekian. He was talking in it to
To
Kami.
Kame. Yeah.
So, and actually, yeah, so that was Piccolo Jr. So there is really no reason why Piccolo doesn't know Namekian. He says, "Oh, I've been living on Earth too long," or something. Which
So he forgot his own language.
in
Which
that,
I mean,
I don't know. That's a lot. Like that's a lot to lose in what a span of from let's say the 23rd Budokai to now would be what, 20 years maybe. Like this is right after Boo. Gohan's about
so
18. Gohan was born not like within a year of the Budokai, 23rd. So yeah, about 20 years, I would say, probably give or take. So I don't know. That was a plot hole that really stuck out to me right in the beginning, and I was like, ooh, that's that. Let's pick that apart, please.
um yeah, it's a little troubling.
I mean, it is what it is. As I said, it's not canon breaking, but you know me. I love to nitpick this stuff, and it's not going to make me fall out of love with it. I'm not nitpicking it to destroy it. I'm nitpicking it just because I can. Um so anyway, so yeah, we got more interaction between Nerva and I think it's Nerva, right? Is there an R in
Neva.
there?
No, there's no R.
Oh, so it's Neva.
Neva.
Okay. So Neva and Piccolo and the crew, they talk about just, kind of the history. They talk about the Tamagamis. Um, and I don't know, anything from that conversation really stick out to you? I mean, it was kind of, for me, it was just kind of a lore dump, which is good to know. But at the same time, I'm like, Okay, more lore. Here we go. Like here we go. We're building more lore. This Dragon Ball is really trying to build up their lore to like Tolkien levels of lore with this.
I mean, yeah, it's world building a lot directly, and it's once again it's tell not show.
Yeah. But I mean, there's some show, but I don't know. So nothing. I mean, nothing huge stuck out to me in this scene. It's just it was kind of another lore dump, a little bit of a history with the Namekians. We learned a little bit about Piccolo, a little bit about Neva, and and kind of the Tamagamis. But in all actuality, they didn't tell us a lot even then. You know what I mean? So they did make it sound like that the warrior cast of the Namekians kind of, because there was one thing that Neva mentioned about
A
not
warrior Namek, that's rare, he
yeah, like
said.
yeah,
And it's just like on planet Namek, there were way more warrior type Namekians than Dragon Clan Namekians.
yep. Yeah, and
So
that's what kind of stuck out to me. And again, not canon breaking, but I was just kind of like, huh. And like, because I remember, and then they made a gag out of it with Piccolo, like, "Why is everybody looking at me?" Like, well, that's because there's a lot of warrior Nameks where you come from, there, son. So I don't know. Anything else stick out to you about that exchange in the beginning?
not really.
Okay, it was like it felt like they told us a lot, but they didn't tell us very much actually. The more I think about it, like they didn't tell us a super ton. So um we move over to Marba, and they're going to make us another Majin.
Yay.
This time it's going to be Majin Do. So they use up the last of the Majin Buu essence, and they do another C. They plant it 20 centimeters down. you are a risky bitch. I'm like, okay, I don't understand like what the thing is with the burying it deeper. Like, does it make it more
Grow
powerful?
bigger and more
Yeah.
powerful is what it's implying, seems like to me.
Then why didn't they do 20 centimeters like the first time with the Saibu man? The first Majin
I
Ku.
It seems like they're worried that they'll make something so powerful that they can't reel it back in if it went out of control.
Yeah,
They don't want something that they can't control that'd be more powerful than they are, but
yep. So we get a Majin Do that looks a lot very reminiscent of Fat Boo, but a little bit more evil. Not as playful, obviously. But he wants chocolate, so that's always that seems to be a thing that always seems to be, whatever. So I know. And then so of course the Saibu man, I want to call him the Saibu man. I don't want to call him Majin Ku. The Saibu man uh runs and gets chocolate and brings it back, and then he shares it, and then he shares his piece with Majin Ku, Majin Do as well. So yeah, not much happening here, I don't think. There was a scene where Bulma's talking with Neva on the way to the second Tamagami. Um, just basically talking about the history of the Dragon Balls, how evil people were starting to use them, and that's why he made the Tamagamis. I don't know. Again, more lore dump, more things that we kind of. I don't know if we were told this yet, but we kind of implied it that somebody was misusing the Dragon Balls, and that's why the Tamagamis were made. I don't. That's what
yeah,
I always thought. I don't know if we were told that early on and I forgot, or I just implied that, but it just kind of seemed, knowing Bulma and how she abuses the Dragon Balls on Earth, maybe Earth needs some Tamagamis to keep Bulma away.
right. But she would just send Vegeta to fetch them, and it'd give him an excuse to fight something.
That's true. That's true. I was about to say, would Vegeta really do that? And then you said the whole fighting thing, and I'm like, you know what? He would. He would love the challenge to fight a Tamagami. So, um, yeah. But I mean, just basically talking about the Tamagamis are, that they're super powerful. Um, And Vegeta, of course, claims it's his turn, because that's how Saiyans do. Goku got to fight Tamagami number 3, and now Vegeta wants to fight Tamagami number 2. So, no paper, rock, scissors. It's just Vegeta says it's my turn. So, all right. So that's kind of like the first and second act kind of wrapped up, honestly. As I said, not a lot happened in these beginning parts. You know what I mean? Like,
No, not a lot. And then the second half is much more interesting to my mind.
yeah, but honestly, it's almost like the last third. It's not even the half. Like we're way past the halfway point when they get to the Tamagamis, both of them, like Majin Buu and Vegeta get to their respective Tamagamis. So, but anyway, so yeah, moving into the last quarter, Majin Buu is now arrived, and he is now going to face Tamagami 1 again. And he does a lot better than the Saibu man. So, I don't know. I mean, I was very interested in to see how this Majin Ku or Majin Buu would fight differently than the Saibu man. So, but he definitely did, and he definitely held his own pretty well, at least from what I saw so far. I would venture to say though, I don't think he's going to win. I think I don't know. I think they might do some kind of fusion thing or some kind of power up, to make him more powerful, and then maybe they can beat Tamagami 1. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
He was doing okay, but the Majin Buu has that interesting fighting style with the bouncing around.
Yeah.
The whole it's gag combat all off Fat Buu and
Yeah.
Go Tanks, and it was entertaining to watch. But yeah, I don't think that he has what it takes in the current form to take out Tamagami 1.
Yeah. I agree. And as I said, I mean, it just depends, because the Majin Buu was a totally different animal, because like he was very, very durable. And I think we talked about this last week about the durability of, because we were talking about the Majin Ku, who or Saibu man, as I like to call him. We were talking about him, and like it didn't seem like he had the durability that like Majin Buu had. And honestly, I don't know if Majin Buu has the durability either. He definitely has that like elastic type feel, but like what happens if like the Tamagami starts slicing him in half? With Majin Buu, he would just reform. But I don't know if these guys have that ability. He's I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Like the durability and the reconstruction and everything. On a magical molecular level.
I don't think that they could pull off that feat of strength. I don't think there's enough of the original Buu to either of them to have that level of durability.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They seem more like the Cyberman level of durability.
Which is blow themselves up,
Right,
Yamcha,
exactly. To say none at all.
yeah, Yamcha just kind of had an issue. So yeah, as I said, the fight was definitely interesting, though. You're right. Like it's like the gag fighting technique. It's like the gag fight. Where he's using kind of like the fatness and the roly poliness to kind of, bouncing off of things and making it seem like he's messing. It's almost like a drunken master type, like, but not. You know what I mean? So
no, that's a very apt comparison.
yeah, a very special type of fighting that's very unique. But then we go to Tamagami 2 with Vegeta, and so Tamagami 2 says, "Go home, child, and suck on your mother's teat," or something like that. I was just like, "Oh, you're dissing my bro, Jeets." Like, I was like, all right,
And
I see how it
Vegeta
is.
has that great line. It's like, you'll come to regret that during the fight.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, Jeets, that's my Jeets. But then Tamagami 2 looks over, sees Neva, and realizes, oh, you are serious. And the fight ensues, and we have Vegeta versus Tamagami 2, which Vegeta doesn't do half bad. I think in the first part. I think I can't tell if Vegeta is, because we haven't seen much of Vegeta getting used to the demon realm, used to the energy in the demon realm. He does use ki blasts and stuff like that, so we know he can do that. But I don't know. It seems like he's kind of on the back foot a little bit and towards the end. I mean, there is the shenanigans where it's like he gets knocked in the water and there's the crack in there and Vegeta's trying to escape it, but then he powers up and he's able to escape. Tamagami's then waiting for him and knocks him back in the water. Or no, knocks him down and then the Kraken eats him. And I mean, this is not the end of Jeets. We all know this. Like this is not, whether it's the end of the fight for Jeets, I doubt it. I think no matter what happens, I think Jeets is gonna come back and is gonna, you know, make an appearance to kind of wrangle his turn back from Kakarot. So I don't know what are your thoughts on the fights. I mean, we did discuss a little bit in the opening about the Vegeta portion of this fight. I definitely don't think he's out of this yet. I don't I just wonder if even if Goku jumps in like for his turn or whatever, I think it's still going to go back to Vegeta eventually because I think they're going to give him the W. He didn't even go Super Saiyan yet.
No, I think if he had went Super Saiyan, he would have had a much easier time against it. But they're building tension.
It's like with the Kraken last episode. It's like with Goku and Pansy. I'm like, we're really trying to build tension with Goku. Like, if Shin went in there after Pansy, I would maybe there's a little bit more believable plausibility that something would happen, but like with Goku in there, like no, like they're fine. Like they're if he does an instant transmission, he's just gonna get out. So yeah, I really don't feel that this is going. As I said, Vegeta. I think this is going to be a character moment for Vegeta in the next episode, and we'll see. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that Kakarot's going to jump in as soon as he sees an opening and try to get his turn to fight this thing. I'm not certain that he'll give Vegeta his turn back once Vegeta gets out of the Kraken. Is what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope so. Well, wait. I hope Vegeta gets his turn back. Is what I want. I want Vegeta to finish this fight. I mean, them not even letting him go Super Saiyan yet, and Goku went Super Saiyan against Tamagami 3. I'm like, this is not the end for Vegeta in this. I think they will let him go Super Saiyan. I've not seen him go Super Saiyan yet right? Like he's not been Super Saiyan yet. So maybe he's still trying to figure that out, and maybe he'll figure that out next episode. Because obviously Goku had to go Super Saiyan to beat Tamagami 2 or Tamagami 3. And we know that Tamagami 3 is the weakest, 2's the middle, and then Tamagami 1 is the strongest, from what the developer said. There's some interview somewhere where they said that. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I think Geekdom 101 also said that there was some article about it. But yeah. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the episode, though. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a banger, but I wouldn't say that it was terrible.
No, it's serviceable. I feel like it's a good word for it.
And I do like the fact that we're getting the parallels between Majin Buu facing Tamagami 1 and our party, whether it be Vegeta or whoever, facing Tamagami 2. It just feels like it's progressing things along.
That structure of storytelling was nice. It made that final act, that final third, flow really well.
Yeah, it wasn't just Vegeta fighting Tamagami 2. It was also Majin Buu fighting Tamagami 1, and you kind of saw the parallels there. And as I said, I feel like this is kind of and I'm not saying this is them redoing it. I'm saying like this is how it was meant to be, but it does feel like we're like, okay, we're kind of accelerating past like the drag that we had in the first, like those middle episodes, like episodes like what was it, like 3, 4, and 5, or 4, 5, and 6, something like that. So
yeah.
So hopefully, as I said, I wouldn't mind if Tamaga, if they got the 2-star ball from 2, and then Mira, not Mira. I'm thinking of Toa and Mira. Ashura, right? Ashura? I don't remember. Shin's sister.
Oh, Dr. Aransu.
Aransu, that's it. I'm so bad with these names, man. I'm glad you're here, man, because I'm like so bad. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting if if our crew has 2 balls and then they have 1, and then and then it's going to kind of almost be like a Planet Namek scenario where they're kind of try to figure out how to outmaneuver one another. It would be interesting if there was like a third party involved and like they got a Dragon Ball. Then there's like it's a triple threat type scenario where everyone's trying to get the Dragon Ball, and it just would be another Namek saga. I get that it'd be a rehash, but it'd be a little bit interesting, I think, to see how that would work.
I'd like to see how that dynamic would play out with only 3 balls. That could be very interesting.
It's almost like capture the flag with 3 parties, like with 3 teams. You know what I mean? Like, so, but you got to get all the flags to win. So yeah, so that's the episode. Any other things you want to add and before we mark it?
Nothing sticks out in my mind. No.
Okay. I'll start. I'm going to give this episode a 7. Very serviceable episode. The ending was definitely, if we didn't get the really good dynamic in the end, like the final act of this episode, I would have given it a lower mark. But kind of, yeah, like that lore dump in the beginning was just like, and I don't mind the lore dump, but it really felt like they did a lot of lore dumping, but they didn't tell us much at all, throughout the whole thing. So I don't know. I feel like this is how every episode is going to go. Like we're going to get a act of lore dumping, an act of maybe plot progression, and then an act of fighting. I think that's kind of the structure of these episodes at this point, for the most part. I don't know. What do you think?
Hopefully it won't become that formulaic, but it's kind of had a structure to it lately, forming a pattern for sure.
Yeah. All right. What about you?
I'm gonna go 6.
Oh,
I don't feel like the final act was good, but I don't feel like it overcame the other aspects of the episode enough for me.
Okay.
Like you said, there was a lot of dialogue during the lore dump, but not a lot was said that we didn't already kind of figure out and piece together ourselves as, an audience that's not little kids, but it's a shonen anime. It is targeted towards kids over there, so they're.
I mean, literally, they turn the heroes into kids. It's Dragon Ball babies. Dragon Ball babies. So I want, what I want? I want the Star Wars episode of Dragon Ball babies. You remember the Muppet Babies episode of Star Wars?
That was my first exposure to Star Wars.
Really? Oh man.
Really?
Nice. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. So I mean, I'm waiting for the Star Wars, the Star Wars episode of Dragon Ball babies. So
middle school Mage would freak out so hard if there was a Dragon Ball Star Wars crossover episode of something.
That'd be great. I mean, Dragon Ball borrows heavily from Star Wars anyway, but yeah, no, I mean like a direct crossover, that would be great. I'd even want the original footage like they used in the Muppet Babies episode. Anyway, tangents aside. All right, everybody out there in YouTube land, thank you very much for joining us here. Yeah, this episode was, I mean, it was okay. For me, it was okay. For Mage, a little bit less, but you know what? I see his points. And yeah, so don't forget, we have our Golden Glasses Awards next weekend. So I know we still have probably an episode of Daima between that and this, but still, please check us out here on the channel. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you kind of maybe sort of heard of. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.